idea is to give yourself more of a mechanical advantage out of your brakes. It's going to pull it at a better angle than just pulling it straight like this. Straddle cable bolt and slide it onto the cable there. Then I slide a NARP on. It goes into the brake arm, the other end of the cable, or the excess end here, loose end. I swear by this setup, this cable setup, because it just makes things last way longer for me, and I would rather everything last way longer than crap out on me sooner. Cable saucer installed. So here I am in the midst of a complete brake overhaul, and I am to the point now where I'm at the rear by my brake arms and ready to get these cables set up for them. But I wanted to show you guys this piece that I'm installing in this process. It is called the Wooder Designs cable saucer. It is a cable crosser. It is my buddy Geoff Meade's idea. Kevin at Wooder helped him bring it to life, and I've had it for way too long without putting it on. But since I'm putting new lower cables on, I'm gonna do it today. So basically the concept for this is that this goes onto your seat tube. And so once you put it onto your frame, you can zip tie it so it doesn't do that. And so it'll stay in place. But the point of this thing is that you use it as a buffer between your cable inner and your frame whenever you wrap it around like this. So it serves as a buffer so that it can go through here and then go to the opposite side that your cable would normally go to. And you can see that it looks kind of interesting here, and I can demonstrate kind of the point of this. The name of the game here and the idea is to give yourself more of a mechanical advantage out of your brakes than what you would conventionally get if this cable was here and this cable was on the other side. And demonstrate that, let's take the cable out of here and grab a NARP. And now when we take our NARP and we put it to the brake arm, now imagine its point in space. When this brake gets pulled, that point in space doesn't go straight towards the front of the bike, towards where this cable is. It kind of goes at an angle towards the other side because it's on a pivot point and it's following a circle. It's going towards that other side. So if we have this cable in here, this NARP is perfectly following the path of that cable. And if we take it out, you can really see it. It's perfectly following the path there, so that once this NARP is in and we tighten everything down and we pull on that, it's going to pull it at a better angle than just pulling it straight like this, which in theory is supposed to make your brakes feel smoother and give you some more leverage. So I'm excited to get this together and see how it actually works. But basically, we're at the point now where it's into the frame. We've got everything there. I use a different setup than a lot of people with this straddle cable bolt. I basically take it, and if you've seen my videos about it, I don't have to fully explain, but just a quick recap here. I take the straddle cable bolt and slide it onto the cable there. Then I slide a NARP on. And once the NARP's on, it goes into the brake arm, and then we slide the other end of the cable, or the excess end here, loose end, and we pull out all of our slack just like this. Now, I'm noticing that I'm gonna have to go much, much further. But basically the idea behind what I do with this cable setup is so that it takes out the pinch point that is the NARP. When you have a NARP and you have a screw in it right here, basically you can imagine this is your cable and it's going through the NARP and you put a screw in there, it's pinching it like that. But with this, it's more so sandwiching it between the top of the bolt head and these washers, and it essentially just takes away that pivot or pinch point a little bit so that it just makes it so your cables last longer. And it's so nice to have because my cables last so much longer than they used to, and it works way better for me. So I accidentally cinched that down. Didn't want it to be cinched down. So I'm gonna have to get that figured out. Almost good to go. That looks pretty good to me, actually. For now, I'm just gonna finger tighten this one and we'll get started on the other side. So it's pretty much just a rinse and repeat setup here, where we run the straddle cable bolt on, we miss, and then we have to track down our cable again, because that's naturally how it goes when we work on bikes. You lose things. So that piece goes on, then our NARP goes on, like so. Then we run it back through this. And if you're just setting up this cable saucer, then you only really have to just get it set up for your cable length. I have a bit of excess work with my cable setup, but I swear by this setup, this cable setup, because it just makes things last way longer for me, and I would rather everything last way longer than crap out on me sooner. It probably would help too to do this without your spring tension on. There we go. Helps much more when you're on the side of the bike that it is on. There. So now at this point, we have both sides connected, and I definitely need to get a zip tie to keep this thing in place. But so far, I like what I see in terms of how this is set up. And at this point, we've got it most of the way set up, but I'm gonna have to finish with everything on the front end of the bike to be able to really test this and make sure that it's all the way that it should be. But as you can see, there's a slot here for a zip tie once you get it all set up the way that it's supposed to be. And you can see the slot that the cable goes into very nicely, and it just kind of wraps around there and seems to be the way that it's supposed to. So I will report back here in a second once I get everything else done, and then we'll see how it goes from there, and I'll give you my thoughts. So here we are, cable saucer installed. Haven't put the zip tie in it yet. Kind of like it just floating here like this. But immediately what I noticed upon putting this thing on and starting to pull my brakes is an element of smoothness to it that I can't fully remember what it felt like before, but it felt pretty darn smooth. I did notice a little bit of compression with the cable. Whenever I would pull it, it would straighten out and tighten here. So I'm hoping that with time of riding it, it kind of pinches in and wears itself into place where it's like the straightest pull to that possible. But ultimately, it feels pretty good. Got a nice video pulling the brakes that I can play here, but it's a pretty cool thing, and if you want to check it out, there is a link in the description down below, as well as a discount code that helps out my buddy Geoff Meade whenever you buy them. So with that being said, this is the cable saucer. It's kind of a really easy way to help potentially make your brakes feel smoother and even gain a little bit of a mechanical advantage over having the conventional straight to the brake arms cables that you would normally see. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Check it out. Check out Wooder Designs. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Geoff Meade, for having cool ideas like this, and Kevin at Wooder for making them a reality. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you again for watching. Goodbye.